already did it. Flat Stanley.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Wethersfield Board of Education. It is Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. We're in the Town Hall chambers. Alan, can we have roll call, please?
Thank you, Mr. Carey. Good evening, everyone. Mrs. DeRoberts?
Here.
Mrs. Drew?
Here.
Mrs. Granato? Present. Mr. Healy? Mr. Lacavoli?
Here.
Dr. Regan LaFront? Here. Mr. Riley?
Here.
Vice Chair, Mr. Cassio? Chairperson, Mr. Carey?
Present.
And Wethersfield High School Student Representative, Mr. Noah Torrance.
Here.
All present.
Thank you so much. If we could stand and have Ms. Belanger from the Wethersfield High School lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, yeah, of course. You're good. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe there's no student staff recognition?
None this evening, Mr. Carey.
Thank you. Moving right on. Board comment. Any other board members wishing to make comment? Yes, Janice.
As you know, I'm liaison to WSPC, and I've been asked to mention that they would like a more centralized location for information about the schools and about the Board of Ed. And I don't know how we would do that, maybe with Parent Square, just sending them to our websites and telling them what links that they could use, and updating our websites more often, and maybe with our communication committee getting a little more active. But I'm just sharing with you what concerns people have shared with me about that.
Thank you. Ms. Granado.
Okay, I'm gonna, my comment starts with the Friday update, and I want to do some info that was in it on the Wethersfield High School, because it's a good timing, as we will be hearing a presentation on the report by the New England Association of School and Colleges on our flagship school tonight. The update notes, the Friday update on Wethersfield High School, included pictures for homecoming week, as there's a big boost to school spirit, and also the incredible experiences of field trips by the Art and Drama Department to the Goodspeed, and a class trip by the African American, Black, and Latino Studies to Mystic, as students visited a replica of Amistad. Fabulous learning experiences. And then another comment about the Wethersfield Education Foundation. They held their October meeting on the 18th. So we received a report on the foundation grants to teachers last spring that are now being implemented. I'm fascinated with the literacy grant that has all our elementary schools reading the same book, The One and Only Ivan. The Wethersfield Education Foundation is funding the books to every student, and they will be getting them tomorrow. K-2 teachers will also receive a picture book, and a few families will be receiving Spanish versions of the book. The Wethersfield Education Foundation Board is beyond pleased with all these teacher grants, and a special shout out to Marissa Case for this grant, One School, One Book. And also the foundation is looking for 2 or 3 new board members for this term. Please contact me or check the website if you are interested in working with this dynamic group. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Granado. Yes, Noah.
Good evening, board members and town of Wethersfield. I appreciate this opportunity to provide you with a brief update on the recent events at WHS and within the student body. Last Friday was our homecoming football game. Throughout the week, our students embraced their Eagle pride by participating in Spirit Days, which included PJ Day, USA Day, Pink Out, and others. Unfortunately, our pep rally was canceled due to weather, but many students still showed up to cheer on our football team in the rain, notably our cheerleaders and marching band. The following Saturday was the homecoming dance, which our student government did a wonderful job of setting up. Last week was also a success for many other sports, including girls volleyball on their senior night, boys and girls soccer, and girls swim and dive, who won their conference title for the 15th year in a row. Additionally, congrats to Mr. Sikora, who was recognized as the Connecticut Technology and Engineering Education Association Teacher of the Month. So far this week, our students have already been doing amazing things. For example, the Interact Club has started a food drive, and the field hockey team has been selling breast cancer awareness bracelets during lunch in order to raise money for the Tide Foundation. And all of these events showcase our school's vibrant culture and student involvement, and I would like to thank our staff and parent community for their commitment to supporting us students. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Noah. Any other board members? Mr. Riley?
I'll defer to you. On 10/16, I attended the Emerson Williams PTO meeting. There was a lot of discussion about the school referendum and what's upcoming, so they had a lot of questions, and I was able to answer quite a few of them, so everyone seems interested in that. On 10/17, there was the WECC annual meeting. I went to that. On 10/18, there was the Wethersfield High School PTO, so I went to that. And on 10/20, there was the football game, and I volunteered to handouts, working on the concession stand, so I'm doing my best to keep busy.
Thank you. Dr. Regan Lefebvre?
Yes, thank you. It is a very busy month, although I did notice Principal Glenn Horder just hanging out, sketching in his notebook during the Scarecrow Festival as part of the Charles Wright scavenger hunt. I found him, though, so he's not getting away with that. Tonight, I actually had the pleasure of going to one of the CREC schools' open houses because I have had children both in Wethersfield public schools and in public Montessori magnet schools. And it was both really exciting and really sad to see how beautiful these buildings are. They're not brand new, but they were built to be airy and light, but still feel safe. So it was frustrating and sad to walk around and think, wow, this is so much nicer than any school building we have for elementary students in Wethersfield. But also exciting because you can see what a great school building can do to lift morale for the teachers and for the students. I feel enormous pride in what happens inside our schools in Wethersfield, but I don't think any of us take much pride in our elementary school buildings. So the future is out there, and I look forward to the next council's steps in moving towards a referendum. It's going to be exciting. It's worth it.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Do we have a motion to approve the October 10th, 2023 regularly scheduled board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any comments, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you. Public comment, anyone in the public wishing to make comment, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and you have 5 minutes. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Communications, Mr. Emmett.
Thank you. Good evening again, everyone. A few items for you this evening. You have an action item before you that you will be taking up with regard to our pursuit of an HVAC indoor air quality grant. I did get word that council has appropriated $360,000 for the chiller replacement at Silas Deane Middle School. At this point in time, I will be working collaboratively with the folks on the town side to develop the HVAC grant. It will be submitted prior to December 31st. The expectation is that we will hopefully get it and receive a approximately 56% reimbursement on that particular project. At this point in time, the town has moved forward with engaging Fryer and Associates to work on the drawings, so this project is getting started. At this point in time, there were no additional funds provided for Charles Wright with regard to their HVAC system, but we are definitely going to be pursuing the Wethersfield Silas Deane Middle School chiller project. We know that that chiller is on its last leg. It dates back some 20 years, and we've had a lot of issues with it. So that will be coming before you this evening. Dr. Regan Lefebvre had mentioned the issue of building and moving forward. I definitely want to make sure that the public is aware that we are going to continue to move forward. You heard from Colliers that the cost of the repairs to the current buildings has jumped from $37 million up to north of $50.2 million. And these are for repairs. This is not for a new designed building. These are repairs of the current structures. So we are in the process of developing a broader committee that will be meeting prior to Election Day to start to process next steps. One of the things that we'll be looking at is the history. What have we done since 2018? Where have we been? What do we do next? That's the other key piece. One of the things we'll be doing is, as Jennifer mentioned, going to a school building that has been renovated. I'd like to bring this committee out to a school district that has seen multiple renovations in new schools so that you can see exactly what a new state-of-the-art, newly designed 21st century building looks like, what we aspire to be. So that meeting will be happening again prior to Election Day. I expect those meetings to continue in earnest until we move forward with a plan as to the future of our elementary schools. The decision to sit back and do nothing is just simply not acceptable. You see it every day. You get my updates with regard to roof leaks, windows that are outdated, mortar that's falling apart. These buildings are tired. They are well maintained, they are safe, but they are tired. So it's time to move forward for the future of the Wethersfield Public Schools. Very pleased to announce that yet again, the district has received another grant. Wethersfield High School was the recipient of a high-density tutoring grant. So this will be a grant that will support Wethersfield High School students. I know Stephanie Jakes, our assistant principal at Wethersfield High School, was instrumental, along with Dr. Christina Zlayton, in writing this grant, and this grant will support over 24 of our current freshman students that need some support in the area of math. So I'm very happy to have that. This evening, you don't see as many of our administrative team members in attendance. That is because they are over at the Dalio meeting. It is a panel discussion talking about disconnectedness. And I have Mrs. DeStoli, I have Mr. Kazar, and Kim Bobbin are over there this evening. I know Mayor Rell, who I spoke with earlier today, is part of the panel presentation. This has been sponsored by CCM. I did have the opportunity to talk with Mayor Rell last week via email and talk about some of the things that we have in place, from our mental health grants, our high-density tutoring grant, high-dosage tutoring grant, our wellness centers, both at the high school and the middle school, and the various ways that we as a district are working to reconnect with our students. So, also, last but not least, I do want to give a shout out to all of our teachers at Wethersfield High School as well as our students. Last week we had the opportunity to engage in instructional rounds, and I was wholeheartedly impressed with what I saw. And among the students, I saw exceptional academic compliance. Now what we want to get to is academic accountability, raising the bar and increasing the rigor. So staff members did a great job. Again, thank you to the WHS administration for setting this up. We look forward to getting back out not only to Wethersfield High School, but all of our schools across the district to do this important work. And then last but not least, a shout out to our teachers. I must say, comparing staff attendance this year to date compared to last year, we are in a much more positive direction. We have had fewer fail-to-fills, so we're definitely pleased with that. So staff members, keep up the great work. And my final message, freshmen, I'm still watching your attendance. Ninth graders, come to school every day. It is our lowest grade level in terms of attendance, so let's make sure we're getting to school every day. And with that, it's communications.
Thank you. Moving on to action items, Ms. Drew, you have a motion for us.
Yes, I move that the Wethersfield Board of Education authorize the superintendent of schools to apply for the HVAC Indoor Air Quality Grant for public schools with DAS/OSC for the replacement of the HVAC chiller and air handler at Silas Deane Middle School.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Excellent. Mr. Emmett, do you have anything to tell us?
Yeah, so at this point in time, your approval, once we have this approved, and we will send the minutes as part of the HVAC grant package. In addition, I will go before town council. We will need to get approval and a resolution from town council, getting their approval and their commitment to the expenditure of the funds, and then we'll be able to submit prior to December 31st.
Excellent. Any questions or comments? Excellent. Seeing none, with a motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Report and discussion items. Board members, check your packet. If we have any committee meetings, which we do have one coming up this week, make sure you're attending. If you can't attend, let the chair of the committee know. NEASC presentation, I believe that's going to be Ms. O'Connor, Ms. Brzezinskis, and Ms. Belanger. Did I get it right? I got it right. I got them all right? Okay, just making sure. I cheated, it's on the sheet. Well, I know Ms. Belanger, but it's not working.
Oh, yeah.
That was a key. He didn't mind it. It wasn't on now.
This is a much better view than over there.
Right? Okay. So thank you, Superintendent Emmett, Chairman Carey, and members of the Board of Education. We are pleased to be here tonight to present the findings from Wethersfield High School's decennial accreditation visit that took place last fall. The report is the culmination of years of hard work by Wethersfield High School staff, but none so much as the two teacher leaders who joined me tonight. Wethersfield High School English teacher Kristen Brzezinskis and math teacher Shannon Belanger, who co-chaired the NEASC accreditation process for Wethersfield High School. They were joined by 7 other faculty members in many other academic areas who made up our steering committee. All worked tirelessly with staff to create our collective mission and core values and ensure that the students and staff were ready to shine at our decennial accreditation visit. I do want to take this opportunity to publicly acknowledge their commitment to our school. So thank you very much, Shannon and Kristen, for all your efforts. It would have not been possible without these two wonderful people. So very much wanted to thank you.
Great.
The report is 43 pages in length. We will not be doing it that long. We will try to provide some context overview and really hit the highlights that are very important for both you as board members and also the public to know about the great work that has been happening and then what are our next steps moving forward. So the bulk of the presentation will be done by the two ladies to my right, who really were the driving force behind our accreditation visit.
All right, so our visiting team for the decennial visit doubled in size from the collaborative conference. We had a variety of people on the team from a variety of school settings, including an assistant principal, a speech-language pathologist, a curriculum coordinator, a school counselor, a reading teacher, a math teacher, someone who volunteers their time for the commission, and of course our chair, Kathy Cisnowski. Kathy and another member were also on our collaborative conference team, so they were already familiar with the work that we were doing in Wethersfield and our goal setting, and so they were able to see all of the growth that we've made and the progress. The visiting team was impressed with the enormous amount of work that had been done in an incredibly short period of time with new leadership and a challenging environment due to the impact of COVID. So we want to thank our visiting team for their time and their feedback. Right? They spent 4 jam-packed days visiting Wethersfield High School. Before the visit, they had to read the self-reflection report, the collaborative conference report, our decennial summary, which essentially was our feedback and our own interpretation of how we think we're doing on our goals. Their time in Wethersfield included a variety of meetings with administrators, teachers, school counselors, students, central office employees, and then some of our Board of Education members. They visited countless classrooms, reviewed student work samples, and that was all in the effort to determine the degree to which we aligned to the standards for accreditation and evaluate our progress towards our self-identified priority areas for growth. They took all this evidence, drew conclusions for each of the sections of the report that include commendations and recommendations that, in the visiting team's judgment, will help to improve teaching and learning at Wethersfield High School.
So in June 2023, the NEASC Accreditation Board voted unanimously to award WHS continued accreditation with NEASC. Their letter stated that the Commission was impressed with the progress made in the priority areas of growth and increased alignment with the principles of effective practice since 2020 collaborative visit, and provided the team with the following commendations. I'm going to speak to each of them as we go through. The first one, Previous to the decennial visit, WHS did not have a unified vision of the graduate. We didn't have one at all. Now we have a vision of the graduate, in their words, that includes the attainment of transferable skills, knowledge, understandings, and dispositions necessary for future success, and provides feedback to learners and their families for each learner's progress in achieving this vision. The visiting team noted that there are posters of the pillars throughout the building, and in some classes right now, actually more widespread, teachers are actively referring to the specific pillars, and students can identify them as well. In addition, there are posters with the mission statement and core values. Curriculum work has begun, and as departments move through their process, they identify which pillar they are addressing in their units. There's also some small core groups at this point in time who are beginning to assess the vision of the graduate, and that's going to become more widespread this year. Point 2, the alignment between the vision of the graduate skills, communicator, problem solver, and collaborator. The eagle, our school's mascot, provides an inclusive image for the vision of the graduate. Posters with the vision of the graduate and mission statement are hung throughout the school in each classroom. Blue Eagle News, the video recorded announcements, highlight the vision of the graduate in September and reiterated the importance and raised awareness from the previous school year among the student body. The goal is to utilize this vision for students and staff as everyone is a lifelong learner. Point 3, encompassing the universal identity of the vision of the graduate in the school community and the We Are Eagles cultural shift. This is an increased awareness of the vision of the graduate among the faculty, staff, and students. Students have reported that school spirit is being revitalized, and the morning video announcements on Blue Eagle News end with every day, we are loud, we are proud, we are Eagles. Number 4, the first day, the Eagle Way, and the creation of the Eagle Crew, the student leadership group, has created 2 very unique opportunities for students to participate as spirited members of the student body and to lead through the embodiment of our mission statement. We are engaged, we are accepting learners, and we are energized to succeed. Number 5, the revitalization of school spirit among students, faculty, and staff members in a school climate in which all people feel supported, included, and able to achieve their fullest potential. The visiting team noted that, quote, the growth from these actions is indicated by the Board of Education and the Wethersfield High School community adopting the vision of the graduate. The result is a heightened awareness that is starting to take root. We're very proud of our mission statement and of our vision of the graduate. You'll notice the background of it is actually our kids' caps and gowns during graduation.
We had additional commendations, the provision of high-quality professional development to support teacher growth. So the visiting team commented that a number of staff members are seeking new learning opportunities on their own. We have a lot of teachers leading professional development and forging professional learning communities within the school environment. All right, number 7, the core of the faculty members have embraced the urgency and built their capacity after the COVID pandemic. The visiting team commented that there is a cultural shift in teachers' mindset towards collaboration and curricular dialogue. Number 8, the implementation of common planning time to reflect on the curriculum, treating it as a living and breathing document, was also of note. This time also provides opportunities for collaboration on instructional practices, increasing student engagement, creating assessments, and then reflecting upon that student learning to make improvements for better teaching and learning outcomes. Right. Point 9 was the Wellness Center was also commended for its, quote, out-of-the-box approach to support the increased social and emotional needs of our students. Number 10, so through the ESSER funding that we were able to secure, we have grant funded a math interventionist and a reading tutor to support struggling learners. Our visiting team really commented that this bridges some of the learning gaps and learning loss we saw with COVID and is vital to bridging to grade level skills and content. Right, at the high school, they also commented as number 11, the Bridges program that supports both social, emotional, and academic needs of our students in a safe, motivating, and family atmosphere. All right, and then the last commendation refers to the class summer school program that was also recognized for its help transitioning students to the high school through its orientation program, as well as supporting learners through offering credit recovery options in core subject areas. All right, so we have, for the accreditation, 6 foundational elements. All right, the commission believes that these 6 foundational elements are critical building blocks for school success. Right, schools that are not yet aligned are expected to prioritize the work to ensure alignment. All right, so the first one is on school environment. We have core values, beliefs, and the vision of the graduate. There's one about curriculum, school improvement, having a school improvement plan, intervention strategies for learners, and then providing a safe school site.
Right. In addition to the 12 specific commendations, the Commission noted that we are pleased with the school demonstrating growth in foundational element 1.2A, which was not met at the time of the collaborative conference visit in 2020, but was met at the time of the decennial accreditation in 22. So in 2 years, we actually turned that accreditation and specific indicator around. Foundational element 1.2A, that we have a written document describing our core values, beliefs about learning, and vision of the graduate. When we first assessed ourselves at the collaborative conference, we didn't have a vision of the graduate in place. The faculty, staff, and students of Wethersfield High School worked tirelessly for 2 years during professional development time at Silas Deane Middle School to align our vision there, and at the high school, combining to create all of these ideas into one WHS graduate vision of the graduate. The image, indicators, and statements themselves have come from our own community. We're striving for meaningful ways and representative skills in our vision of the graduate, as well as for ways for this vision to be marketable to the community. Future work that still needs to be done at WHS are to ensure that the vision of the graduate skills are embedded in curriculum, instruction, and assessment practices, to provide professional development that will help professional staff design learning experiences that align with the vision of the graduate, to create a structure to assess student progress on the components of the vision of the graduate and include opportunities for students to self-assess and peer assess, and to develop and implement a process to provide feedback to learners and families on each learner's progress in achieving this vision. We're working together as a staff currently to integrate this vision of the graduate skill rubric into each class this year and to assess the skills in a culminating capstone presentation for the current junior class in April. The visiting committee also identified some next steps in this priority area. While we're not going to review all of these tonight, they are available in the full report. Some high leverage items include embedding the vision of the graduate skills into curriculum, instruction, and assessment, and providing corresponding professional development. I want it to be noted that over the last 4 years, the staff and faculty at Wethersfield High School have worked together to create this vision. It does encompass the mission statement, the embodiment of it within the school mascot. In Becoming Eagles, we have worked together to coordinate a unified skill set that 21st century learners graduating from WHS will possess. In such, we've worked together to create a structure to assess student progress and inform families on the vision of the graduate skills. We built a cohesive vision of the graduate, mission statement, and coordinating school climate and cultural shift. This is big work. The coordinated vision for all students includes embedding the 21st century skills in all classes and all curricula, as well as means to assess them. And in the spring of this year, we'll pilot our portfolio/capstone pilot of the class of 23-24, and more information about this culminating assessment will be shared at the January Board of Education meeting.
So our second priority area is around curriculum, and this is the one foundational element that at the time of the decennial visit we did not meet. So the visiting team had a lot of recommendations around this priority area. Right, Wethersfield needs a written curriculum in a consistent format for all courses in all departments across the school. All right, so several of these steps include securing annual funding that is budgeted for curriculum development and revision, right? Including also was restructuring the department liaison role to improve the ability to support each department with the implementation of the curriculum. They would like us to refine common planning time to support high-quality teaching and learning, collaboratively develop a PK-12 standards-based curriculum map by grade and course to ensure district coherence, so both vertical and horizontal alignment, and provide professional development time to support curriculum development implementation. So the Board of Education needs are really around funding and providing time. And I think Siobhan has some additional comments.
While the visiting team acknowledged the work that has begun in this area and commended us on our work, they were specific in highlighting areas of concern in Wethersfield High School, making timely progress in this foundational element for several reasons. I think it's important to share those now. First, the limited amount of time for professional development available for curriculum development and the lack of administrative staff to support and oversee the curriculum writing process. We do have a shared 712 instructional supervisor and a current liaison structure, but for a large comprehensive high school that offers 129 different courses in total, the visiting team was concerned that all that would be really needed to be to have these effectively in a 5-year curriculum revision cycle would be quite challenging. They quote, "While schools typically make substantial progress in meeting the foundational elements after the decennial accreditation visit, if this does not occur, the Commission may ask the schools to explain the reasons and include a plan to ensure such progress." And they did note their concern based on those following reasons. The last area that I'm going to speak of is priority area 3, which is tiered intervention system. In regards to our tiered intervention system, the visiting team acknowledged the large amount of work that has been done in this area since the 2020 collaborative conference, including the start of our collaborative problem-solving approach to intervention, the use of STAR data to identify students in need, the creation of the Wellness Center, and the Bridges Alternative Program. The team also did provide us with next steps, which have already begun, including an assessment of our current special education model, the use of STAR data in all areas, and tracking of intervention through the newly required EduClimber software. We continue to look for ways to support all students' needs at Wethersfield High School, including adding to our continuum of services. A great example of this commitment is the establishment of the ACAP program, the After-School Credit Attainment Program that we are piloting this year, and as a result, will likely have 6 students who will graduate from Wethersfield High School who were not expected to do so at the start of the school year. Priority Area 4 is actually tied to the work that Shannon and Kristen have already talked about. It's really around our instruction and assessment practices. Since the collaborative conference in 2020, again, the visiting team noted the tremendous progress that has been made in the area of instruction and assessment practices. But based on recommendations, we still know we have a significant amount of work to do. This school year, we were able to create common planning time for all departments, meaning that all math teachers share a full period off at the same time, as does English, social studies, etc. That means that there are multiple opportunities for collaboration and shared decision-making for courses. We are working to ensure that this time is purposeful and used to meet the goals set forth by the visiting committee, as they are the best practices in education. We are committed to continuing our improvement in this area in the coming years to ensure that all of our students have access to rigorous learning environments.
So the accreditation cycle has become much more reflective and ongoing. We have done all of the steps that are listed on the left-hand side. So in the fall of 2019, we collaborated in writing a comprehensive self-reflection report. In the fall of 2020, we hosted our collaborative conference. We revised and started implementing work on our priority areas. And then last fall, we hosted our decennial visit. All right, this past spring, we had our follow-up meeting to go over our next steps and then to talk about the future steps in our cycle, right? But it's definitely more ongoing, reflective, and growth-oriented. There are more milestones and check-ins with the commission and the decennial visit, and this is a huge shift from past practice where the accreditation used to be more of like a checklist of things that you would do, and then you'd have like a 2-year and a 5-year progress report and then kind of forget about it for a while. This is very different.
Okay, as you can see, the accreditation cycle is an ongoing process that allows us to self-assess, reflect, and improve upon the strengths we have, addressing weaknesses and building opportunities for all learners within a rigorous and supportive environment. In May of this year, we'll submit a 1-year report to the NEASC Commission sharing our growth and continued steps for improvements. These ongoing reports to the Commission should document continuous growth and plans for improvement. It's important to note that the Commission also requires that we submit any major changes to our liaison on the Commission, Allison Gary, the Director of Accreditation and School Improvement, under the substantive change policy. This report would be filed at any time should we, as a school or district, make major changes in programming or funding. Our accreditation is a cycle. It should be noted that the work we have all done at WHS has had an impact on our students and staff alike. We are educating and supporting 21st century learners, and we're excited about the future to come and continued access to high-quality education at Wethersfield High School.
All right, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great.
Do you have any questions?
Hold on, let's get the lights on. Matt, can you turn the lights on?
Yep.
Thank you, Matt. Ms. Granado.
Well, first of all, thank you. And I was pleasantly surprised how I loved reading this. First of all, if you're in education, you know the difficulties and the details in getting it done. And I'm so appreciative of having this report in my hands. Here's my question to you, though. So the reports are going to the principal has to do the reports in your timeline there. Will the board ever see those interim reports? And the reason I'm asking is sometimes that's going to depend on money.
Correct. So I think with the addition of the various checkpoints, it will shift how we do business, right? So if we are making any major changes, and that does have to happen, then we do have to submit those substantive change reports based on the new accreditation standards. But we will certainly share that. That wouldn't be a surprise. We share that information with both Superintendent Emmett and Chairman Carey. So whenever we have to submit a report to the commission, they get copies of those, and they once they do finalize and accept them, they do come back to both those people.
Okay. And just one other thing, and you couldn't help letting it glare at us when they talked about the conditions of all the buildings here and the cause of it. So I hope this is going to people who need to see this, because that's a shame that some of this is due to the buildings that we have here or to your building and the differences in people coming in to take care of them. And the town is very proud of this flagship school, and I hate to see anything happen to its physical building. I'm so excited about what's going on inside it, though. Yeah. That's fabulous.
And certainly if members of the public are interested, our full report has been posted on our website since we did receive it in June. So if anyone is interested in reading it, it is there in full on our opening page.
Thank you. Ms. Drew.
I have a question about the curriculum, which that seems to be the largest issue. So, elephant in the room. But so it looks like we're going to have to revamp the curriculum. Are you saying, or is NEASC saying, that who we have doing the curriculum is not enough? Our current curriculum administrator, it's not enough to have complete, because we don't have very much time to revamp the 169 classes that you're talking about.
Yep. 129.
29. Sorry,
it's not. Make you sweat even more, but
I was adding to French 5, okay?
So I think what their comments reflect is the enormity of that lift in ensuring that we have a continual, because it's a reflective cycle that NEASC is now putting in. They expect their accreditations to also follow suit within their schools, right? So it should be a reflective curriculum process. Curriculum really doesn't end, right? So by the time you've written a curriculum, 5-7 years go by, the world has changed, right? And so there is an expectation that is a continual revision to ensure that we're really at the cutting edge for our students and ensuring that they are learning what they need to. Their concern with the current structures that we have in place is that that's a very heavy lift for a part-time administrator and department liaison to really, they're still teaching a full load. And so that is a lot on them and on our teaching staff, because we have amazing experts and amazing teachers who can write the curriculum, but then you also do need the time to do so in addition to teaching their classes, which is obviously the first and foremost importance. But the curriculum is what drives what we do. It's also what drives student achievement. And so we do know that it's a hugely important piece in ensuring that we have the best that we can offer our kids.
So what are they suggesting, or what are you suggesting?
Oh, on the spot. Okay.
So, yes, sorry, it's,
No, so I mean, honestly, I feel like whenever we're doing this, we have to be very cognizant of the budgetary climate that we exist in. And so we always want to make sure that we're offering solutions that are both effective and as much budget neutral as we can. So I certainly have ideas that I would share, but I would want them to go through the proper channels, which would not be right now here in public comment. But I would, I have offered some suggestions to Superintendent Emmett that I would be happy to discuss when he feels it's appropriate.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Dr. Regan-Lefebvre.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for your hard work on this. I've participated in a NEASC accreditation myself, and I know it's very, very onerous and demanding and a ton of paperwork, so thank you for this. And also, it's very jarring to look at the full report and to read that for student learning, we do not meet the standard. But this is also nearly a year old, and I know from being on student programs that we have been in the process of approving many courses. We have 11 that are on the agenda for Thursday night. So I know this process has begun and is ongoing. For the benefit of anyone who hasn't looked at the full report, I want to highlight two things. One is that many of the things that we are commended for, that you are commended for, are not permanently funded. Namely, the class program, the instructional supervision that we require in order to do this massive curricular overhaul, and trying to think what else. That's not the only one.
A math intervention.
And the math interventionist as well, yeah. So these are things that they commend us for as having made a big difference and ensuring that we had a much better score this time. And, you know, accreditation is not, it's not like getting extra credit. It's not like gold star. It's essential. You know, we can't not have accreditation for our high school. Absolutely essential. So this stuff really, really matters. So I am concerned about that. I won't be on the board much longer, but I urge those who are continuing to continue fighting for these resources. I mean, again, you know, preaching to the choir, we all know that this is what needs to happen, but it's frustrating. As you say, it's a difficult budget climate. And I also note that there's actually a very specific recommendation here that we hire somebody, that there's a personnel problem, which is regarding our chemistry labs, that we don't have a chemical safety supervisor, which is essential. You know, kids playing with chemicals, learning about chemistry, you know, this is really serious, and we should try to act on this. I don't think that's really an option not to. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Roberts.
Yes, it was very interesting reading, and I can see that you've done an incredible amount of work and that there's still a lot to go. And I really, reading it, my first thought and my thought all the way through was we need to share this with town council and make sure that they're aware of this, that aware of the financial needs, but also what goes on with the incredible work that you do all the time and how deserving you are of whatever it is you need to continue on this path. You know, just, I know that one of the things besides the facilities and the positions that we need to maintain, looking at more of the nitty-gritty of what they observed, and moving toward a more student-centered, student responsibility, that's really important, and we really need to make sure everybody understands how to do that. It's just very important. I believe that is the heart of rigor, to be able to make this, have the students take on the work of their learning, and it takes a masterful teachers who are really motivated to do that, to learn to facilitate that effectively. So, yeah, I think the commendations are well-deserved, and I am looking forward to being able to do whatever we can to support you and to get the community involved with the town council and people share, you know, being able to get a link to this report so they understand just the work you do is amazing. So, thank you.
Thank you. The work they do is amazing. I help facilitate.
I meant all of them.
But I do want to just point out that, you know, this is also a pre-K-12, you know, expectation around NEASC. And so the work that you're talking about, Ms. Roberts, is really important in all of our schools, right? That we're increasing that accountability and rigor so our kids can do amazing things. I mean, we have kids who have so much ability, and it's just great to see them when they get to fly. And you've seen some examples of that. I know this young man on the end is one of those examples. But it's just great to see everyone find their niche. So that's what we get, the joy that we get.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I just make one more comment? Can I do two?
No, of course not. Of course you can. Go ahead. Of course you can.
I couldn't resist. We're talking about the graduate, and I saw last year when the graduates using their cap and their gown, and they went into the elementary schools. Now you talk about K through 12. They love concrete sequential things when they're in K to 6. You know, that's actually a must, because if we want to put this curriculum in, they literally see the vision of a graduate. And then we put it into their everyday work. It really will be motivating for them. I can't tell you how excited I am to read this, and also how motivated I am to make sure that others know this. That's high school, is so important to us. So aren't all the schools, but that high school is our flagship. It's what people notice. It's what you read about in the papers. It's the sports. It's the wonderful chemistry people we have out there. So it's just so important. So thank you again.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you so much. And just to be clear, we were aware of the curriculum issues, correct? Which is why the last few years we've been working on that with the 712 curricular.
Yes, so-
And the work with Ed Advanced, correct, last year? On
Yes.
rewriting. So we're well on, it's not like it caught us by surprise. We've been in motion, it's been set in motion already.
Yes, I mean, upon my hire, I knew what the collaborative conference, recommendations were going to be, the areas that we did not meet, and so we did have a plan moving forward. I think what they're noting in the NEASC report is just the number of pieces to kind of get fully in place, and their concerns. But yeah, we commissioned with that advance. They did our initial curriculum training with our core group, which both Mrs. Muzinskis and Ms. Belanger were a part of. And we trained another round the second summer, and now everyone is trained and ready to write curriculum. It's just getting that time and space to make sure we get all of those 129 and whatever else we would like to offer in the future in additions, written and being high quality.
Excellent. And thank you for all your hard work.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll give Jim a second to put the screen up. Moving on to meetings held, the WECC annual meeting on 10/17/23, Ms. Granato.
All right, we finally got the annual meeting in. So Wethersfield Early Childhood Collaborative had their annual meeting on Tuesday, October 17th at the Keeney Center. And the mission of WECC is that all Wethersfield children birth to 8 are healthy, developmentally successful learners and connected to the community. Now, WECC has the annual meeting to give an update on the year's activities, changes, and progress. And Kim Bobbin, our family and early childhood coordinator, gave us some interesting info on Wethersfield's youngest citizens. 64% of Wethersfield children attended preschool in 2022, continuing a downward trend. As 2006, we had 93%, and in 2018, we had 81% attending preschool. 32% of Wethersfield's youngest children come from multilingual homes and speak about 30 different languages. The School Family Community Partnership works with WECC to connect families to resources, including welcoming new families, engaging partners to maximize the time children spend outside school, and ensuring a smooth transition to K. And together they have received $793,000 in grant funding to support staff and program. The annual meeting had a feature speaker, Anna Bryant, who is a licensed professional counselor who has specialized training in play therapy. She spoke on the power of play. A very timely topic is our General Assembly recently passed Bill 6329 to incorporate play-based learning in grades pre-K through 5 for the purpose of improving the development of students' executive functions and reducing the negative impact of high levels of childhood anxiety. Schools will focus Learn to Play for the 2024 school year. This is the most exciting development for our youngest students, and all info for parents and teachers can be found on the WECC website. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Granato. Moving on to CREC. Ms. Granado, 10/18/2023.
It's my WECC and CREC moment. So the CREC Council met on Wednesday, October 18th, and the CREC Council is the Capital Region Education Council, of which Wethersfield is a member, along with 35 other surrounding towns. The council is responsible for the regional magnet schools and Project Choice. They are also responsible for running the Hartford Head Start. The meeting started with a presentation on the CREC magnet schools. Students come from 77 towns, of which 83% are from Alliance District. Much more info and data is on their website. And we heard from Greg Florio, the Executive Director of CREC, on the CREC Council changes with more info to come. And the council approved a financial change to add monies to the Head Start, Early Head Start program. The council approved policy changes on safety, campus recruitment, and on the planning and placement teams. And there was a very lengthy presentation on the CREC Magnet Schools SBAC scores, science testing, and the SAT scores. The legislative update was on the many task force focusing on educational issues and the priorities for magnet school funding in the upcoming year. There was all this data on test scores, info on task force issues, financial numbers, and minutes of all the meetings on the CREC website. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Human Resource and Personnel Committee, 10/23/23.
So we met yesterday, and Human Resources gave us a presentation in regards to the numbers of the hiring of staff, and when we compared it to last year, we are far ahead of where we were last year. And then we ended up talking about the exit interview process. So starting January 1, there's a new law that will go into effect that school Board of Educations have to do exit interviews with employees. So currently, we do an exit interview process where employees are offered the opportunity to have the exit interview, and it is currently in person, by phone, video interviews. Typically, the standard over industries is about a 15% participation rate. However, with Wethersfield, the teachers actually have a 56% participation rate. So we're pretty impressed with that. We are currently not ready to discuss any overarching themes in regards to the interviews yet. I don't think we have enough data since it's only been, from January 1 up until this year. So hopefully next year there'll be something a little bit more. We also discussed and suggested there's going to be a board policy that's going to be out. The attorney's going to be working on that we will be offering the in-person, and then at the second request, if they don't respond, to offer a written interview for them to hopefully increase the participation rate and to help us further. Is there anything else that I'm missing?
No, you've got it. You've covered it.
Okay.
And can I just add, we were really impressed with the changes that Trent and his team had made in response to some things that we pushed them pretty hard on last year with exit interviews. It's great. And there are also a number of vacancies right now, 5 paraeducators and a reading tutor. Reading tutor, you need to have a bachelor's degree, but you don't have to be a certified teacher. So if you know anyone in your life who wants to get involved with our schools, we're hiring.
Thank you. Finance and Operations Committee meeting, 10/24/23.
Me again. So currently, we are forecasting to be over budget by about $40,000, which includes substitutes, unbudgeted insurance deductibles, and outplacements. And so we're continuing to monitor.
Excellent. Thank you. Meeting schedule, student programs and services, 10/26/2023, 6 p.m. Those who are on that committee, please make sure you are attending if you said you could. There are many teachers coming to present curriculum, and we do not want to cancel again on those teachers. Special board meeting on 10/30/2023 at 6 p.m. Again, those who said they could come, please make sure you are coming. We're very tight on a quorum. The WECC meeting is 11/13/2023 at 4:30 PM. The CREC Council meeting is 11/15 at 2023 at 11:30 AM. There's no unfinished business, public comment. Anyone in the public wishing to make comment, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and you have 5 minutes.
I am Doug Sudell from 323 Main Street. I want to start by understanding there's an election coming, thanking all of you for your time and commitment to this. This is, frankly, it's a lot to sit here. I can't imagine the weight that you all bear doing this every several weeks. That I continue to be interested in a focus on new schools. I think it's critically important, and I hope everyone who remains is equally as committed to that. But the issue I want to raise today is just general communication. I am relatively new to town. I also understand Parent Square is relatively new to the schools. I think the communication from this board, unfortunately, is just challenging at best, I suppose. It's hard to know what you guys are doing, what your agenda is, what the purpose of this group is. And we just heard minutes ago there are 30 families or 30 different languages spoken by many families in this town. And Parent Square happens to be a wonderful source of information for those people because things are translated automatically. So I would ask, I've mentioned this to Mr. Emmett more than once, that this board figure out how to communicate with, at the very least, the folks in the schools better. And Parent Square seems to be a great way to do that. When our meetings, what are the agendas? What's the purpose of the Board of Education in the town of Wethersfield? People don't know. People don't know the work that you do, the importance of it, and it's hard to elevate that to the town council when no one knows what you guys are doing. So I've heard several times here that the council needs to know what's happening here. Well, people need to know what's happening here, and right now, it's not being communicated at all in any way that I understand, and I'm pretty engaged. And I know that's much more challenging for many of the parents that I see on a daily basis dropping off and picking up at school. So I would ask that you ask Mr. Emmett maybe to figure out how to use Parent Square in a much more effective, focused way. It doesn't need to be political. It needs to be sort of just a fair and honest communication of what you guys are doing. There's amazing things here. I've been to, I don't know, maybe a half dozen board meetings. Every time there's something impressive happening, and there's seldom anyone in the audience, and I don't know who watches on TV, but I really do hope that you guys work hard to share the information about your efforts and about the purpose of this group that you guys all spend so much time on. And I started with commending you for your effort because I recognize it's a lot. I wish you could all share it or think of ways that are cost neutral to share it with folks in the town, because I think it's really important. I think more engagement is really important, whatever the topics may be. So thanks for your efforts, and I hope you guys can take the time to empower Mr. Emmett to use Parent Square in a thoughtful way, or however else that might happen. I don't know, but to get the word out about what's happening in town, what your efforts are, all of these things that are going on, because it just seems like such a wasted effort to be in this large, beautiful room without an audience, with hearing from teachers who were frankly working their butts off and should have an audience to hear about their efforts. And so you're obviously a wonderful audience, but it would be nice if there were more here to know what's going on. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Anyone else wishing to make public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you.